See, straight away, I'm screaming danger.
Yeah, but that's what everyone associates asbestos with. But
is asbestos as common now as what it was back in the day?
We've started doing asbestos talks for the construction students.
Oh, brilliant.
So something that's massively beneficial for them. So obviously starting their construction careers. Mesothelioma UK.
Yeah.
Wait, sorry?
Mesothelioma.
So that's basically a disease caused by asbestos.
It's like an asbestos-related cancer.
Nobody grows up wanting to be a Gary Neville. In the nicest way. And Gary Neville's obviously fantastic.
This episode of All Things Business, the podcast, is brought to you by our digital media partner, DFA Law. DFA Law, providers of expert and dedicated legal advice to businesses and families since 1838. DFA Law, the law firm for life.
Welcome to the podcast, Dan and Sian.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
You got the memo then. We're colour coordinated. For those that are watching, or those that are listening and not watching, we've all seen the cream and stone.
We didn't even
I'm
email
double
each
creamed
other.
it.
No, it's the group chat.
Yeah.
We planned
What
it.
are you wearing?
Yeah.
So thank you for coming in. We're going to talk sort of all things growth and Acorn, really, aren't we? Because it wasn't until you and I had a chat a couple of months ago, Sian, that I probably didn't appreciate, one, how big the organisation is, two, how successful you've been in like recent years on that growth, and then also we're going to come on to community, because you do an awful lot of stuff across Northamptonshire, but also other charities as well.
Yep.
So for those that haven't heard of Acorn, Sian, start us off. Just give us a bit of an intro to the business.
Yep. So we're a UCAS accredited asbestos consultancy. So we do asbestos surveys, air monitoring, asbestos removal, project management. We've got our own in-house laboratory as well.
See, straight away, I'm screaming danger.
Yeah, but that's what everyone associates asbestos with. But obviously, we've got to be careful going into people's homes using the word asbestos because they're going to panic. So
Is it so it's domestic and commercial?
Yep, domestic, commercial, industrial. So it can literally be anything from someone's garage shed to a massive industrial site, where they're manufacturing cars or anything like that.
Now, forgive my naivety, because I ask silly questions sometimes, but there might be one or two people listening or watching that might be thinking the same thing. Is asbestos as common now as what it was back in the day, because of how businesses are constructed and stuff now? Or is it a case of actually it's more rife now than ever before because of the way buildings were constructed in the 50s, 60s, 70s?
it's obviously because obviously they don't use it anymore. It was banned in 1999.
Yeah.
But it's what was used prior to that is causing the issues. And then it's people's like negligence towards it that is really causing issues. So like I've been in the industry 15 years and the sort of queries you'd have back then, there's no real change to this day and age now. So that's the worrying thing.
Is it a big awareness piece?
Yeah, I mean,
because how would you like not a professional like you guys, as in someone like me, even think about actually is that asbestos, or am I in an asbestos environment? What are the telltale either signs or what people should be considering? Is it like an annual check that they're having with their landlord, or?
Yeah, so we obviously do carry out an initial survey.
Yeah.
We sometimes do sample labelling, so you can see where samples have been taken from. It will probably make people aware of where the asbestos could be, so they know not to sort of damage it. But then following on from that, if there has been asbestos found, then we'll do like a yearly re-inspection, just to obviously keep an eye on the sort of material, the condition, just to make sure that it's not sort of damaged and causing sort of any exposure.
I think the difference is with domestic properties as well is a lot of people will buy houses, they'll have a building survey done, and then the building survey say, oh, there could be asbestos, I don't know, in the texture coated ceiling or floor tiles. But what I think people should be doing, or the solicitors should be saying, is you should have an asbestos survey done on the property, not just the building surveyor. They're not actually technically trained like our asbestos surveyors. They can say these areas, but there could actually be other materials within the property that no one even knows about. So, if you're buying a property that's pre-2000, you should really have an asbestos survey done so that you at least know what's in the property.
And laboratory. I was fascinated when you said you've got your own laboratory. Is that Moulton Park?
Yeah.
So, surveyors are going out on site, and then how quickly you turn in? Is the laboratory turning around tests and sampling?
It depends really. Obviously, on the severity of the job, we've got urgent jobs. We've got sort of our standard sort of social housing jobs, which is like sort of 3 to 5 working days.
Yeah.
But if someone needs something urgently, we'll generally turn it around within 24 hours.
Yeah, sometimes we can even do same day as well. We've
Yeah.
got 8 lab analysts in there as well.
Wow.
Everyone loves a lab.
Yeah, they do.
I can imagine you in your white jacket, Dan, going down
Yeah.
with I'm thinking of test tubes and spatulas.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff.
it's not
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. It's,
Nothing
it's,
like
micros-
that, I know.
it's microscope.
That's just
so,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, you've been going 12 years.
Yeah, just over 12 years now.
It's a pretty impressive growth because I'll come on to how you started, but before that, what's the headcount at the minute? How many staff have you got?
75.
About 75, yeah.
And they're almost all of them are based out of Northampton, yeah.
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 So take us back to how the business started, Sian.
So it was 2 of the directors. One of them, so there was Neil, he worked at another asbestos consultancy. Ian worked for the ATAC, which was the asbestos consultancy, what's the word? Membership association.
Yeah, yeah.
And they were having some conversations with some other people, and it was like about setting up a new business. So they did that. So, yeah, so it was the 2 of them initially in 2012. Obviously, we got 75 staff now, nearly... but just over 12 years later. So I actually looked last night, I was like, I'm going to be a proper nerd. And it was like our growth rate over that 12-year period is like 3,650%, which is mad. And that's all obviously local people.
And if you look at the client base, because you obviously operate nationally,
Yeah.
just give me a couple of names that you work with, that household names that people might be familiar with.
Busy Bees, nurseries.
Yeah.
Clark's Shoes.
There's loads.
So,
It's
so in
literally-
Clark's, for example, that'd be all of the retail units
Yeah.
as well as the sort of warehouse
Yeah,
and
and then
distribution.
Busy Bees Nurseries, they've got like 300 and something sites across the UK. Well,
Yeah.
actually, they're worldwide as well.
Yeah.
Dignity funeral homes.
Yeah, Dignity Funerals.
A lot with the NHS as well.
A lot, yeah.
So-
And then obviously we've got housing. So we've actually got like Northampton Partnership Homes. So that's a local
Yeah,
housing
yeah.
association as well. There's so many big.
It's hard
sort
when
of
someone
clients.
asks you like, how many clients you got, because then
Yeah.
you try and think of the biggest, but then we've actually got so many big ones. It's like, well, who do you say? So we've got like Amplius Housing, another big one.
Yeah.
We work with Instaloft, so we're a loft boarding company nationally.
Yeah, I've heard of them.
The list is endless.
So I always like this question. Who thought of Acorn? Why Acorn? What was the? Is there a story behind the name?
So there was actually the original office. There's a Leeds office. So the director there, Andy, he was the one that set up that. And I don't actually remember what I think it's.
I think an opportunity basically was given to Neil, and
Yeah.
he took it.
Yeah.
The name was already there, the accreditation was already there, and Neil, Ian, Paul, and obviously now Sam as well have just basically just grown it from there, really. And
It's a great success story.
Yeah.
And so and along the way, you've won a few awards as well, haven't you?
Yeah, fair few.
Yeah. Can't
What's been the? Because you've been there for a number of years, Dan.
Yeah, 7 years now I've been there.
So what's been the award highlight out of the ones that you got a pretty, unlike I don't want to upset any football fans like Spurs or something like that, but you've got a pretty big trophy cabinet. So
Yeah.
which is the one that
Well, I'm a Leeds fan, so ours isn't very
you'll be
full either.
pleased to know that when Liverpool win the league, Leeds always win the league as well and get promoted. So you're on for another good season.
Yeah.
But what's the one that stands out award win?
For me, it was the SME Awards. Must have been about 2 or so years ago. We won Employer of the Year,
Yeah.
and that was really, really good.
It's hard because obviously that was a big one that everybody
Yeah.
wanted. But then obviously we won the big one last year, which was biggest business, 50 plus
Yes.
employees.
Yeah.
So that was obviously massive to be, because obviously I went to the 1 year before, and just the people that are there is so many well-known names there. So to come away with the gold was massive.
Brilliant. Good. And what about career highlight as well? Because you would have been smaller than what you are now when you joined. So you've been part of that growth, Dan.
Yeah.
What's been a career highlight for you so far?
Over the last 2 years, really, it's been a highlight for my career because I was a surveyor when I joined Acorn.
Yeah.
Then I moved into the quality and auditing team, and then the operations team, and then now head of the operations team. So
Managing
that as a
director
whole.
in disguise, Sean, maybe.
But yeah,
Who
knows?
But I love that growth where you see an individual that's come into a business, and by the looks of it, is learning department by department, understanding the business, and it's mirrored with growth as well in terms of job title, etc. It's good.
I think we do, as a company as a whole, we look at progression for everybody who we've got. So the last couple of years, we've took on a massive amount of trainees, just to kind of give back to Northampton as well as a whole. So people that are coming out of college, university.
How do you find that process? Like, do you have a relationship with, like, for example, Malton or Northampton College, and you've got that sort of constant stream?
Yeah. So with Northampton and very recently Malton, we've started doing asbestos talks for their construction students.
Oh, brilliant.
So something that's massively beneficial for them. So obviously starting their construction careers, we come in and give them a bit of a head sight of where asbestos could be, what it looks like, what you should do if you come across it, which is I think it needs to be sort of countrywide. We need to get this out to everybody.
And forgive me, I don't mean this to sound how it might sound, so I don't want to cause offence, but I can't imagine there'd be, well, I might be wrong here, but the next generation saying, do you know, I want to be an asbestos surveyor.
Yeah.
Like finding it as...
No, I get that.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
So it might well be that until you go in and inspire that generation that want to be in construction, but they perhaps don't know what area they want to be, that they perhaps go, actually, you know, I've never considered asbestos before, but I want to do that. Is that... Do you find that a lot?
Yeah, because we do a lot of open days as well with schools. So no one's going to come up to you and be like, my dream is to be an asbestos surveyor.
I think most of them don't even know what asbestos is anyway.
But
so
like
they
Jamie
wouldn't even
Carragher,
know.
he says nobody grows up wanting to be a Gary Neville.
Yeah,
in the nicest way. And Gary Neville's obviously fantastic, but I'm just, but
I wouldn't say
similar,
that.
yeah.
He's a Man United legend, but...
But I suppose really that giving back ends up helping you tenfold, because it opens up another career path for the next generation.
Yeah.
But you know what it's like, obviously, when you go into college. Like, I did the same myself. You go and you don't really have a clue what you want to do. You obviously go and do a plumbing course with the aspiration to be a plumber. That sometimes doesn't work out. You go to do a carpentry course. That sometimes doesn't work out, and you feel like you're kind of lost, and you're ending up sort of doing jobs in a warehouse, something that you don't really want to be going into a career doing. So it's kind of how I fell into it. It's not like a job that you go out and see and it's there for everyone's applying for it and stuff like that. You kind of just fall into it.
Yeah. But it's a bloody important one. It must be very satisfying when you work on a project that you think, actually, you know, if we hadn't have had this call, this could have been a very different situation, like in months or years to come.
Yeah.
So, and what about your highlight, Sian?
So I've been with the company 11 years now, but it's like technically a little bit longer. So when I was on maternity leave after I had my son and they sort of first started the business, when he was having a nap, I'd do a little bit of business development. So some of the clients I found then, we still work with now. Still with us now. And then I officially started part-time, just helping with the operations admin. Did that for a bit, did some reporting as well. Then I moved on to be business manager, so I was dealing with the accounts and all the vehicles. Then it was COVID came, and I was like, right, we need to obviously get some people off furlough, because obviously we had to furlough some people. We need to get them back ASAP. So I was like, do you know what? I'll just take over the sales. So I'll do the accounts, the fleet, everything else, and then I'll take over sales.
Superwoman.
And then
Sean Acorn was her name for that.
Yeah, that was
that
literally,
period.
it was like, that was it. It was like, I'll just take over that. And literally, I think it was within 2 months, we brought pretty much all the staff back.
Yeah.
I just pulled stuff out my arse, effectively. And then, that was commercial manager and then made head of commercial recently. So, I think my highlight is where I've gone from literally my son having a nap, being on maternity leave, or, had a couple of years off with him, to where I am now.
Yeah.
It's
well
it's been
done.
a bit of a ride.
And now, alongside that, obviously, you've done a lot of work from a charity perspective, but this year is probably the most significant year, because you've got, is it 6 or 8?
10.
10.
Yeah.
10.
It's growing. It keeps growing. So obviously
talk me through this, because when you and I spoke, and then I had a look at the list, I was like, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
So where did it come from, first of all?
so we've got a social charity and workplace committee, where basically we just sit down every month and just go through our plans for like workplace to make developments, what social events we're going to do, because we do a lot of social events to obviously get our guys together.
Beaujolais.
Yeah.
That's the top one. I love the Beaujolais.
Yeah, because obviously we've got site guys and the office team, so we want to get them integrated as much as we can, because we're all one team at the end of the day. So we do a lot of social events to get everyone together. But then with the charity one, like last year, we had quite a big year with the Three Peaks Challenge, which we did for Cynthia Spencer.
Yeah.
And it kind of just got the ball rolling for me personally, because I like a challenge. The other two weren't so keen on what we're going for this year. But yeah, we've got 10 events planned for 3 charities, one being our main, Cynthia Spencer, which we supported last year.
Yeah.
Muscular dystrophy, if I said that right. And the third one is... Third one is... Mesothelioma UK.
Yeah.
Wait, sorry.
Mesothelioma.
So that's basically a disease caused by asbestos.
It's like a asbestos-related cancer.
Which we've worked with previously as well. We did a 24-hour bike ride for them 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So out of all of the charity initiatives and stuff that you've done, events, what's the one that really sort of is a highlight for you, Dan?
The Three Peaks.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that why? Because it was so hard, or
Because you didn't really train for it.
Yeah, we didn't train for it. I was due to have a knee operation, but it was something that's always been on my bucket list.
Yeah.
And something I wanted to do for Cynthia Spencer, because like my nan passed away in there, so it's a charity that's quite close to me anyway. But yeah, it's how we underestimated that, which what made it so much more.
Do you know Jack Fletney? Legend. So he's like Northamptonshire's answer to Bear Grylls. Great guy, does loads of charity work, but he's got a business called Legend Expeditions.
Does he do all the ultras and stuff?
Yeah,
like that?
well, he's done all of that, but like he takes groups like up to Kilimanjaro, and you can do that, and obviously raise money for your chosen charity. But he did it with the guys at ACS, Chris Wright, and he went on it with a few other business people. And I'm pretty sure, I might have this wrong. Well, it definitely twice, but if not 3 times, Jack was doing it, bringing people back down, and then there'd be another group, and he'd go and do it again.
Really?
So he definitely done that twice, possibly 3 times, like consecutively. No resting.
Wow.
Yeah, but he's they do some amazing stuff. Like they're doing one. I don't know when this is, but they're biking through Iceland. I'm looking at Arthur. Is it a snow bike through Iceland? I think they're doing, and then they camp. It takes like 6 or 7 days or something. But some like so you'd love that, Dan.
Yeah.
So yeah, you should check that
Well,
out.
that kind of puts the Three Peaks to shame.
Well, the reason I
Yeah.
said that is because Jack said I should do the Three Peaks, and
You should, mate.
No, I'm not fit enough to do that.
Yeah, but I wasn't.
Yeah, but you're fitter
I
than
was
me.
like,
Dan.
I had like 4 stone on me back then.
You lost some toenails though, didn't you?
Oh yeah. I would recommend buying boots that fit if you do it.
Oh really?
Yeah. I've literally, they're still falling off now.
Yeah.
Wearing a pair of size 10 and you're in 11.
Yeah, honestly, when we come down Snowdon, I was literally tiptoeing because it was that painful.
How many of you did that?
3.
And what about you, Sean?
So I've done things like gardening and painting at Cynthia Spencer Hospice
Yeah.
over the years. I am actually doing the first charity event.
Yeah.
It's the first one
Yeah,
with
it
3
is,
other
yeah.
colleagues. We're doing skydives, obviously tandem. So the only reason I've so I do not like teacups. I've never been on a roller coaster. They literally scared the life out of me. But October, I went parasailing in Tenerife. I was like, that looks quite fun, which it was actually a nice experience. And my son started calling me, like, taking the piss, calling me Action Mum. And then this opportunity came up, and I was like, do you know what? I'm going to jump out of a plane, and I'm just going to prove to you that I'm not boring and that I can do stuff. But I actually feel all right at the minute. Probably won't on the day.
I hate
But
heights, so I wouldn't be able to
yeah,
do that.
so
Where
I've
are you going to
literally,
fly from? Or fly
I
out?
think is it Peterborough way?
Like Duxford or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah, could be.
How many of you
That's
How many are you going to do that?
So it's 4 of us doing it. And I've actually, they've said that I can go first because I was like, if I'm going to do it, I want to go first.
Well, you need to make sure you've got some sort of Go Cam or
Yeah.
I think
GoPro.
I think you can pay for the video, so I definitely want the video. But yeah, so that's something stupid that I'm doing. Because I also said to him, I was like, if I'm all right and, you know, I don't die or anything like that, I was like, I might even consider going to Alton Towers this year and going on a roller coaster. I might actually be having a midlife crisis. I turn 40 next year, so it could be that.
Take me back. So you've got this, I think you call it a social and charity committee.
Yeah.
Just like, when was that formed? Because I love the concept of that. Like having how many of you are on it?
A couple of years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, about 2 years ago.
How many of you are on it?
1, 2. Well, we've actually extended it recently because we've got the site guys coming in for obviously their ideas and for them to go out to all the site team to gather more ideas. There is 6 of us now.
Brilliant.
It was 3, now 6.
Yeah. No, I really like that because I think it's a good way to reach everybody within the business, but then all come together to have that common goal.
Yeah.
Hence probably why you ended up with 10 events this year.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what we're all about. We always want to improve. We always want to try and be the best company we can for our staff. So I think with that, obviously people have ideas that they don't want to raise to sort of the senior management kind of thing. So this is kind of a nice way for them to approach the people in the committee, and then that's when we can talk about it and look at other improvements.
Brilliant.
Which we have sort of rolled out already from improvements made at the end of last year.
So what does the future hold then for Acorn? What do the next couple of years look like?
More growth.
Yeah.
So
more growth.
I think, how many people are we taking on? By?
Well, last year we took on 16 people. This year we're already at 14. So, again, another 3 or 4 of them are trainees that have started in the last couple of weeks.
Do you think that growth will be still with Northamptonshire people, if you like, or local people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, opposed to maybe opening up another office? Because I know you've got other offices.
Yeah, we've got other offices as well.
But in terms of local, that's going to be local people
that's
going
to
to be
be
recruited.
locally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because 2 years ago, not even 2 years ago, we moved offices for over the road to try and sort of expand into that. Mm-hmm. And then 12 months later, we've already outgrown that. So now we're moving again.
Literally next door to a bigger office.
So that's just kind of puts it into perspective how quick and how rapidly we are growing.
Okay, brilliant. Well, we're going to follow the journey closely.
Yeah.
And I want to see this video of you jumping out of a plane for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
And as long as depending on the expletives, if Arthur can't bleep enough of it out, then we'll perhaps put it on our socials as well.
Or you could mute it.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to say.
But like with all of our podcast guests, we always like to ask a question around dinner guests. So if you got dinner Saturday night,
yeah,
which 4 people are you going to invite, Dan? Sean can have a bit of thinking time.
Wow.
Who would you have?
Number 1 would be Alan Smith, former Leeds United legend.
And Newcastle, Man United.
Nah, we'll forget about the Man United part.
Okay. What was he like, your hero growing up?
Yeah.
For Leeds? Yeah.
Yeah, I went to a shirt sort of signing. He left the day before, and I dyed my hair bright blonde.
Oh, no.
Hoping to meet him, and then I hadn't. So that was awful. That was heartbreaking.
So Alan Smith.
Amy Winehouse.
Yeah.
Guys,
I'm going to Camden in a couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah.
Literally just to go and have a mooch with my daughter's at the age where she's actually, I'd like to go to Camden, and my wife wants to as well.
Yeah.
She's been a few times.
Yeah.
So just going to go and have a mooch, but yeah, they want to go and do the sort of where Amy grew up and lived and stuff.
That would be wicked.
Yeah.
This is actually a really tough question. Muhammad Ali.
Yeah. Last one.
And I don't know. Donald Trump, I think.
Trump.
Yeah.
We're not going to go into well, I do like the politics chat, but I'll probably end up losing a few followers if we start.
Yeah.
on that.
Well, that's just more to asking questions on why he's a bit of a dick, to be honest.
I know. Yeah, but yes, he is. But then there's other parts.
Sometimes he
where I'll go
things
fair play.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you the one. He was. We were watching on the telly outside, right? And it was the whole TikTok, and he said, TikTok's worthless. I think this is when they cut it out of America. TikTok is worthless without America, but with America it's worth trillions. So I'm going to speak to them. And he sort of went over his shoulder, and there's a guy there. I don't know if he was part of his press team or if he was from TikTok. He said, and I'm going to negotiate a deal so America owns a chunk of TikTok. And I thought, fair play. I can't imagine one of our leaders doing that.
No.
But then there's other stuff that he does where you go, oh, here we go.
Well, our leaders can't even lead, so.
Well, yeah, 100%. I'd back you up on that, mate. Go on then, Sian.
So one of mine was Donald Trump.
Okay. Same reason or different reason?
Just some of the stuff, yeah. So obviously some of the stuff, it's like, you're a dick. Some of the stuff I'm like, actually, you do make sense. So yeah, just a general, just speak to obviously about his wealth and stuff like that as well, which I just find it quite fascinating. Another Ricky Gervais.
Yeah.
I absolutely love him.
That's a good
I
one.
think
Do
he's
you know what, right?
He's so clever.
So if I'm having a not a bad day, but if I'm a bit down in the dumps, I've got two things that make me happy. Only Fools and Horses is my happy place. Now I've watched every episode a dozen times, but I still have a laugh. And if I lock myself away for half an hour and watch the episode, I always come out feeling better. But also Ricky Gervais, that 10 minutes, you know, the Golden Globes, his last ever one. I mean, it's just genius. I think the guy's just incredibly.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say Afterlife
unique.
when he walks past the kids' playground.
Well, but Afterlife is the only, it's genuinely the only series or program, film, whatever, where I've laughed and cried.
Yeah.
In the same episode.
Yeah.
Nothing's ever made me do that.
No.
But I haven't been able to complete the second season because I think I probably need to be in the right headspace for that. And
Yeah.
at this moment in time, that isn't for me for Afterlife.
Yeah.
But I will watch it at some point in the future. But I think he's an incredibly talented individual.
talented.
Yeah. He's
All
brilliant.
right, so that's a good one. So Ricky, DT.
I don't know if anyone would know Jordan B. Peterson. So he's actually Canadian. He's a psychologist, but I can't really describe. He's just so clever with everything that he talks about. He talks about just everything. I think he's kind
How
of
did
just
you hear about him or find him?
She's
So my
Googled that
husband-
to make her look a bit like sort of smart.
No,
hasn't it?
so my husband would watch some videos and stuff like that, and then I don't know. It's just I just like watching what he talks about. He's a very intelligent man, obviously a psychologist, and he interviews different people.
Okay.
And I'm actually going to go and see him in June in
Really?
Birmingham as well. It's only really the last sort of couple of months, and I've just been watching a lot of stuff, or I've been, listening to podcasts, and it's quite interesting.
So what's he doing in June in Birmingham?
He's doing a whole show, basically. I can't even remember. It's called... what's it called? Can't even
Jordan
remember.
B. Peterson.
Jordan B. Peterson.
Okay.
It's just, yeah. It's
Is
just
it like an audience with...
Yeah, effectively. And then
Yeah.
he's just talking about different things in life. And yeah, it's just, yeah. It's worth having a look at. He's quite an interesting...
No, that's good. I'm going to check him out. So that's three. Yeah, that's a...
And then Margaret Thatcher.
Nice. Margaret Thatcher and Donald Trump at the same table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Is it,
that's just...
okay. That's a very diverse,
That is,
yeah.
very diverse table. That and so, where would you go locally? Where's your go-to place for food or restaurant, Dan? Favourite restaurant in Northamptonshire?
See, that's hard because we had this conversation the other day about
that
like,
was
what your
about-
final meal would be.
If you were on like
Yeah,
death
not
row.
well. Yeah, but there's
Yeah, but
that's another
restaurant, though.
conversation.
Yeah.
'Cause you could. It depends if you want that for enjoyment purposes or because you want to leave something behind. That's a different one.
Yeah.
But but if you want to go out Saturday night, where's your go-to place?
I would say Hops and Chops.
Yeah, that's but past Sixfields.
St Crispin's.
Yeah, St Crispin's. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you
it's
know I
gotta
haven't
be
been
that.
there for a couple of years now.
It's lovely.
I've
Yeah,
been there
it's
for
really
years.
nice.
Yeah, actually, do you know we should go and check that out.
Hang on, what's your top four for your dinner?
It depends what day of the week it is. and I can tell you now, and by the time this goes out, I could have changed it.
It's Stephen
Depends what day
Gerrard
of the
on it.
week. Gerard's 100% on it. But I think Ricky Gervais would be a great shout.
Yeah.
Because
That is
I
a
don't know
good
with him. I want to understand the psychology, but like for example, that Golden Globes, like how much time and effort did he put into writing that?
Yeah.
Because he's got some incredible one-liners, but it's almost like it's so natural. I don't know if you could plan that because of, for example, the seating plan when he takes the mick out of a couple of people that are in the audience, like Joe Pesci, for example.
Yeah.
that must be off the cuff because unless he knows exactly where he's going to be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which would you though?
I know.
Yeah.
I know. So, but yeah, and Sean, what about you? If Dan's hops and chops,
Nuovo.
yes,
Oh,
Stuart
I
Love
Bright.
that's a
Nuovo.
good
I'm going
shout
there
as
on
well.
Monday
Yeah.
night as well. So I love. Oh,
Nuovo's a popular one.
Yeah.
Stuart does a great job, him and his team there.
Yeah.
And a few people would say Nuovo. But I think now more than ever, it's great if we as a community can support, you know, the local restaurants, all of them, but in particular, the independent ones.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I think they do a great job for us. And I think we're blessed with it as well, not just in Northampton, but across the county. We've got some really good.
Really good.
yeah. There's
Pub
some places
restaurants.
I still want to go to.
Yeah, well, you got loads of independent ones as well.
Is it like
They're
is
like-
it
even like the
is it
pop-up
Ember
ones.
Grills or something like that in
Ember.
Wellingborough?
Well,
Yeah.
Sir James Peck, very talented chef, award winner as well at the Food and Drink Awards multiple times, I think. Ember is special, but he's closed it because he
Okay.
wants to bring it to Northampton for somewhere bigger.
Right. Okay.
So
have to wait until he comes
we've
to
been there a few times, haven't we? Arthur came over and shot a video there, and it's a very special, I would say, dining experience as well because of the way that it's small tables, but you're in the kitchen, so to speak. 'Cause it's all
Yeah.
cooked in front of you. But he's got the 4 pairs now at Great Houghton, just at the
Okay.
moment.
Yeah.
So again, yeah, great, very talented guy.
You got Flavour Trailer.
Yes.
Well, that's a big
I,
one.
I was there last night, and I was
Yeah.
there last Wednesday. But they actually stopped doing Wing Wednesday, like
They stopped
unlimited
doing
wing.
it?
Yeah, literally in the space of a week. So I went to go for unlimited wings yesterday, and it was like, oh, still ordered 2
Disappointing.
lots of wings anyway, but it was fine. But no, the food was good, and the service is good in their restaurant.
Yeah, the dough department, that's another good one.
Yeah, we're blessed with them.
Yeah, there's loads.
Yeah. Right, listen, I've really enjoyed having you on the podcast.
Thanks
You
for
know,
having
thank you
us.
for having
So
us.
thank you very much, and keep growing.
Thank you.
Thank
Will
you.
do.